want to bring in Cliff Maloney. So, Cliff, I've got you here from New Jersey. Also, talk about some redistricting, and you're our ground game guy, one of the leaders of the ground game movement. But I got to ask you, that Antifa interview was just yesterday. Talk to me about that guy, because you and our own beloved Jack Posobiec are on his target list, are you not?
Yeah, it's fascinating to me. I wondered why I kept getting some random death threats back when this book came out, but Mark Bray names me. Steve, here's the best part. I wrote an op-ed in Time Magazine. Can you believe it or not? Time Magazine actually published an op-ed that I wrote about campus free speech. And the Antifa handbook names me and says, this is horrific because Cliff Maloney stands for free speech on campus, which means he must support homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic language, which now, thinking back to obviously what happened to Charlie, I wrote the op-ed talking about campus free speech. And because of that, they put me in the Antifa handbook. They're just wild people. These are not serious people. And for them to do things like that, it just puts a target on a lot of our backs for just speaking for what I would call basic American freedoms.
That's why they do it. Okay, Cliff, hang on. We got a lot to talk about, including this. Dr. Thayer is going to join us. We're going to talk a little bit about the Chinese Communist Party, President Trump in this negotiation. But cultural nationalism, which is a good thing, in Great Britain and Ireland, they've made it a bad thing. And Ireland is on fire now. We're going to break that down. So much going on this morning. We're packed wall to wall. Cliff Maloney is in our West Palm Beach studio. We're going to talk a little New Jersey in this race, and particularly the ground game. What you need to do to get out the vote to have a victory like in 2024. Short commercial break. We're back in the war room in just a moment.
Hello, America's Voice family.
Are you on Getter yet? No?
What are you waiting for?
It's free.
It's uncensored, and it's where all the biggest voices in conservative media are speaking out.
Download the Getter app right now. It's totally free. It's where I put up exclusively all of my content 24 hours a day. You want to know what Steve Bannon's thinking? Go to Getter.
That's right. You can follow all of your favorites. Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, Jack Posobiec,
and so many more.
Download the Getter app now.
Sign up for free and be part of the movement.
So now, North Carolina Republicans are one step closer to passing a gerrymandered congressional map at the request of Donald Trump. Today, the state Senate voted to advance a redrawn map. The House is expected to approve later this week. Republicans already control 10 of the state's 14 congressional districts. So the proposed map targets one more seat. Democratic Representative Don Davis. North Carolina's Democratic governor can't veto this plan because of the state's constitution. So there you are.
There you are. A lot of people today, as we were talking about this, someone asked me, well, how is this even legal? And these maps were redrawn in 2023.
Right.
It is the question to ask. But to be very clear, this is the direct result of the gutting of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. When the Voting Rights Act was passed, for nearly 50 years after that, it was Section 5, the pre-clearance section, that made sure that states with a history of discrimination, like North Carolina, had to have their maps pre-cleared by the federal government before any changes to their maps would take place. Well, in 2013, Shelby V. Holder gutted that portion, and this is what Chief Roberts said. He said the times have changed. Well, how times have changed.
And the anchor of all of this is the Voting Rights Act, because the Voting Rights Act required the states to stay to color within the lines. In other words,
this is power politics. This is smash mouth. Maximalists seize the institution, sense of urgency. I don't want to hear their whining. They've gun decked this thing forever. They've flooded the country with illegal alien invaders. I have no mercy on these guys, no pity. And we need more. We need Kentucky and Missouri and Indiana. Indiana, we need 9-0. No happy talk. No, oh, well, we might upset the New York Times. We don't care. Cliff Maloney, and the reason you're targeted and Posobiec are targeted, you guys are in the field. You were a field commander, one of the field commanders in Pennsylvania in the historic 2024, and you came on the show months before and said, hey, if we can execute our plan, we will win. So it's no more strategies if we can execute the plan. The reason you're targeted by Antifa is not simply the fact you've been writing op-eds, et cetera. They understand you and Posobiec and others are kind of some of the stalwarts of this movement. And just like they assassinated Charlie Kirk, they're looking to target and put fear into other leaders of this movement. Are you going to back down at all, Cliff, or have they gotten to you yet? Have they rattled Cliff Maloney?
Steve, my response to them is simple. Double down, right? Part of this America First movement, and so many patriots that watch this show, the whole War Room posse, get this. When these people come after you, there is only one response. Any member of the political establishment, whether it's right or left, when they try to attack you, you can only respond by doubling down. And Steve, let me announce this here to the War Room posse because I'm looking at the data. I want to report some numbers to you guys from New Jersey. We've got this New Jersey Chase program. And by the way, anybody who wants to help us out, njchase.com, njchase.com. Here's the result, and here's the big update I want to give to the entire War Room. As of this day, if you look just last year in the 2024 election, if you look this far out from the election in 2024, in New Jersey, we are performing at 5.5% better than we were 1 year ago. And what do I mean by that? I mean, when you look at the returns of Republicans versus Democrats, we are 5.5% better than we were 1 year ago. And remember, Trump only lost Jersey by about 5.9%. Jack Ciattarelli, the governor candidate, 4 years ago, lost by just 3%. So the program is working. The NJ Chase effort is having an impact. I'm not here today to tell you that Jack's going to win. I'm here to tell you that New Jersey is in play, and we're going to do everything we can to try to bring him over the finish line. If you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would have said there's no chance to win New Jersey. That has changed. That is different. And I think we've got a shot here. And I'm asking everybody in the War Room posse to focus on New Jersey. We've got a chance to flip a completely blue state for the America First movement.
The polling's around 3 to 5%, though, right? The polling says right now, I think it's 3 to 5%, and the Democrats have a natural advantage. What then do we need to do as far as turnout goes? This is going to be a turnout election. What do you need to do in the Chase program and the Scott Presslers of the world, all these people up in New Jersey? Because Pressler says it, and I think you've also said it. Pennsylvania could be the new Ohio, and New Jersey could be the new Pennsylvania. What do we have to do in the next couple of weeks to make sure that we can push the Republican candidate over the top?
Yeah, you said it exactly. It's a turnout election, right? We've got 118 full-time staffers in Pennsylvania right now. I've got 105 full-time staffers in New Jersey. These are the two states that I'm spending all of my time in because, as you just said, Steve, if Pennsylvania becomes the next Ohio, we've got a red wall that makes it impossible for Democrats to win a national election again. If we flip New Jersey, we're talking about Democrats not being a party that can compete, in any way on the national stage, right? That's why Scott Presler is going all in. That's why I'm all in. Steve, let me read you a couple points here that I think data that really kind of speaks to where we are in this election. And for those out there, I don't know how familiar people are with New Jersey, but I want to just share these points. Hudson County, Passaic County, Union County, and Essex County. These are all counties that Harris won by 20-plus points. And one of the problems the Democrats have right now is their turnout, right? This is a turnout election, Steve, as you said. In these counties, they're between 3 to 6% turnout. They're banking on these counties being kind of what drives the win for this Democrat, Mikey Sherrill, and they're just not turning out at the moment. So I call her, Mikey Sherrill, the Kamala Harris of New Jersey. And why do I do that? I'm not just being funny. Steve, the more voters that interact with her, the more people that see her, that hear her message, the more she's losing votes. And it's proving in the data here that the enthusiasm gap for Jack Ciattarelli versus her, people are moving towards Jack. And so when you ask me, how do we win this election? It's very simple. If Republicans sit on the sidelines, we lose. If Republicans show up, turn out, either vote by mail, vote early in person, or show up on election day, We're going to flip New Jersey. Jack Ciattarelli will be the next governor of New Jersey. If every member of the War Room Posse reaches out to anyone who lives in New Jersey and tells them, hey, you have to go vote. You have to show up for this. This is about a referendum, not just on Donald Trump, but is the America First movement going to continue as a stronghold in the political arena? This election will determine that.
This also solves, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room, we have not shown yet, either the Republican Party or ourselves as a movement, that we can consistently turn out low propensity and lower information voters. And what I mean by that is not intelligence. They're just not that engaged in politics without Trump actually on the ballot. This is another test case of this, of where we have to show that we can do that, correct?
No, 100%. And listen, it's an interesting conversation at the door. Let me tell you what the experience is like when we go door to door. Our whole universe, Steve, once again, we have 2 phases in the New Jersey Chase program, just like we did in Pennsylvania. The first phase, which is now over, is going to low propensity voters. These are folks that have voted in 0, 1, or 2 of the last 4 general elections. And we say, hey, Bob, I know you don't vote that consistently, but we love to get you a request form to fill out so that you can get a mail-in ballot. And Bob always says what you just said, Steve. Oh, I vote every election. Well, Bob, we've got the records here. You voted in 1 of the last 4 general elections. And I'm not trying to shame the voter. I'm not trying to insult the voter, but I'm trying to have an honest conversation. And we get them a request form, and then they fill it out, and we get a ballot sent to them. Now, what happens once a ballot is sent to them? 7 out of 10 of these low propensity Republicans, once they get a ballot sent to them, will now vote. They become likely to vote. They become a high propensity voter. That's phase 1. Phase 2 in this program is we go to every single door of a Republican who has a mail-in ballot. And we say to them, hey, you've got a ballot sitting there. Can we just confirm that you're going to send that back today? And Steve, here's the best part of the program. We took this from Biden's 2020 playbook. We go back with the same door knocker to the same door every 7 days. And we continuously, we call it a reminder campaign. Biden called it annoying the voter, right? I don't call it that, but that's what Biden's people called it in 2020. We call it a reminder campaign. So we're going to these low propensity voters and we're just saying, hey, send that ballot back. And that's what this is. It is a turnout game. We don't have election day. We don't have election weekend. We don't have election week. We don't have election month. We have election season in America. I'm not here to endorse it, Steve, but I'm here to tell the War Room Posse one thing. If the rules remain as they do, we have 2 options. We can sit out and we can lose, or we can fight fire with fire. That's what we do at Citizens Alliance. We're going to beat the Democrats at their own game. And if we're successful in New Jersey, we will have flipped one of the bluest states, and it will be a total hide on the barn.
The greatest tee up for the midterms can be this New Jersey situation. Plus, it forces them to put tons of resources that they never thought they were going to have to put. Cliff, where do people go to get to New Jersey Chase, to the Alliance, and to you, your social media? Where do they go?
On X, at Maloney, Maloney, and then njchase.com. That's njchase.com. $175 covers a full day of ballot chasing, and 100% of that money goes to their pay, their housing, and their gas cards. Steve, appreciate you as always. Thanks for the platform, and thanks to the War Room Posse.
One of the field commanders from 2024 in Pennsylvania, Cliff Maloney. Thanks, brother. Thanks for the work up there.